Dr. Shriram Sonone for giving me this opportunity to deliver this talk in this very important event that is called as a faculty development program under the scheme of Atal Yojana. Today, I will focus on advanced nanomaterials and their application, marching towards sustainability. As we know about, everyone knows about nanomaterials, as the basic is not very important right now. But before to start with nanomaterials, it is very essential to highlight the few contents of nanomaterials that must know about their properties, their application, their synthesis methodology, and all these things. So here we will focus on the application-based material. Every time we must have to know about the nanomaterials. When we talk about the nanomaterials, the definition itself suggesting nano means a very dwarf. And when we talk about the size, that is 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. But as far as concerned with this definition, it is this is not the exact definition. When we talk about that definition, that is at least one dimension, means when we start from 0 to 3 dimension, in between that 0 to 3 dimension, at least one dimension should be in the range of 1 to 100 nanometer. Then we call these materials as a nanomaterials. Next. So, concerning with this particular definition, next page. So, concerning with the definition, it is very limited point with this particular material. When we talk about the properties, what properties can be changed when material comes under nano? When it falls under nano, that properties can be changed. That is, which properties are changing here? That is, melting point of the material is changing, boiling point of that particular material is changing, band gap is changing. Then its optical properties are changing, mechanical properties are changing, magnetic properties are changing. But when material is come into the nano size, its surface to volume ratio is tremendously changed. When we talk about the micron size material, so just take example of micron size material, take a crystal of the sugar. When the crystal of the sugars are there, and when we put that crystal of the sugar into 1 by 1 centimeter of that sheet, that crystal of the sugar will not be accommodated over that 1 by 1 centimeter. But if we make the powder form of that particular material, and we take the 1 gram of that powder form of that particular sugar, then that can accommodate very easily into the 1 by 1 centimeter. This is why the surface to volume ratio of this particular material is changing from when it converted from micron size to the nano size. And when it converted from micron size to nano size, definitely whatever the properties I have mentioned, that all properties are getting changed tremendously. When material is having melting point, suppose micron is having melting point, say 80 degree is the melting point of that particular material, but when it is converted into the nano size, its melting point is changing, goes down suddenly, and it comes, say, maybe 75 degrees centigrade, or maybe it goes to 78 degrees centigrade, because why? The conduction of the heat is taking place very fast, and that can be distributed uniformly throughout the material, and therefore melting point is changing. Similarly, it can be observed in the boiling point. Band gap is changing. Band gap is that is what we call band gap. The difference between the conduction band and the valence band, it suddenly changes, and that whatever the change in the CB and VB, that distance becomes a band gap, and that band gap is changing suddenly for that particular material. Optical properties are changing, electrical properties are changing, magnetic properties are changing. Means even the structure of the material changes with respect to the size. Means not only the size, we can have unique morphologies too. Means morphology is also playing the important role when material is converted into the nano size. Next. So here are the some properties of the material can be different at the nanoscale. As I mentioned, surface to the volume ratio is changing. At the same time, its chemical reactivity is changing. Second phenomena is that these are the first phenomena: large surface to the volume ratio. Second, in that the chemical reactivity of that material is changing. Second phenomenon is the quantum effect can begin to dominate the behavior of the matter at the nanoscale. When material is converted, when material is in the size of 1 to 100 nanometer, that time material is called to be said to be as a nanomaterial. But less than that, again, when material size comes in between 1 to 10 nanometer, in between 1 to 10 nanometer, that time it is quantum dot, and that quantum confinement is there. And when the quantum confinement is there, that simple mathematical model cannot work. It requires some quantum mechanical model that can work for that particular system, and we can easily search out the random motion of that particular material when material is over the surface of that particular system. When material is converted into the nano size, there are the two scale. One is the atomic scale and second one is the molecular scale. Atomic scale, for example, I just take put the example that is a silver nitrate. When we synthesize nanoparticle, metal nanoparticle, say silver metal, say gold nanoparticle, these are the metal nanoparticle. And when these materials are converted into the nano size, just take the simple example of silver nitrate. Easy. When we prepare the solution of silver nitrate, that silver nitrate can be dissociated as Ag plus plus NO3 2 minus. Okay. So Ag plus is having one oxidation state over there. And that oxidation state belongs to that same silver atoms are attached to that particular silver, means they are bonded by a coordinate bond. The metallic bond is there. The metallic bond is there. And because of the metallic bond, it has some oxidation state. And for silver, it has +1 oxidation state. But when we add some reducing agent, say sodium borohydrate or lithium aluminum hydride, these are the strong reducing agent. Instead of this strong reducing agent, if I use a mild reducing agent like say ascorbic acid or say polyethylene glycol or say polyvinyl pyrrolidone, these are the reducing agent, but they are the mild reducing agent. And because of the mild reducing agent activity, this material can be converted into zero valence state and they can giving the capping. And when that metallic bond is breaking, that Ag plus is converted into Ag0. And when this Ag0 is formed, the scale, whatever the conversion is there of that particular nanomaterial, that conversion of that nanomaterial is at atomic scale. Therefore, that is called as the atomic scale. Second is the molecular scale. What does mean by molecular scale signifies? Suppose if I synthesize a nanomaterial, say calcium carbonate or say magnesium hydroxide, that conversion of magnesium hydroxide or calcium carbonate is in the range of molecular scale. Just say, take for example calcium chloride. When reacting with ammonium bicarbonate, it forms calcium carbonate. If I mix both these reactant immediately, what will happen? The vigorous precipitation will take place. Vigorous precipitation will take place means what? The conversion of material is to the larger size. Bigger particle size are formed. But if I put some interference in between the reaction of calcium chloride and ammonium bicarbonate, what will happen? The rate of reaction can be minimized. And when I want to convert this calcium chloride into calcium carbonate with the help of ammonium bicarbonate to make nano size of that particular material, is very essential to reduce the rate of the reaction. And when the rate of the reaction is get reduced, that material is converted into the nano size, and the conversion of the nano size material is at the molecular scale. Okay. And as I mentioned that there are the 3 dimensions, that is 4 dimensions are there, materials of 4 dimension. First is a 0 dimension material. That 0 dimension material, when material is at 0 dimension, what will there is a length, there is a breadth, and there is a height are confined at a single point. There is a single point where that material is being confined. The length is also confined, breadth is also confined, height is confined. The best example is a nanodot. That is a particle is there. One dimension, it has only one parameter. When material is in one dimension, it has only one parameter, either length or breadth. There is no height in that particular, either length or breadth. There is a height, but any of the 3 parameters from LBH will be there. For example, your thin film, when we coat over the surface, that is nothing but the thin film, and it has only the length, it has only the breadth, it has only the height. That point is there, only one point is being confined over that particular system. 2 dimension, it has only length and breadth. There is no any height. For example, it is been the nanowire or the nanotube. Carbon nanotube is the example. Carbon nanotube has the length and carbon nanotube has the breadth. Okay. 3 dimension, it has all parameters of length, breadth, and height, For example, nanoparticles, a dot will be there. Not that dot is the different. Here the nanoparticle is there. Here calcium carbonate is there. It is a spherical in shape. Okay, these are the examples which has been having the different dimension from 0 to 3 dimension. Next. So this is this is a beautiful slide which I have put in front of you, because when the last bencher give the answer, that time the reaction of the top class, the student which is a class topper, that showing the such reaction. Because why I put this slide here, because when if you go 20 years back, 20 to 25 years back, that technology was there. Because when you read the articles that Richard Feynman has introduced this coined this technology, that there is a plenty of rooms at the bottom in 1959, but no one has interested to look into this technology, because people doesn't know how to make this material, how to convert this material into the nano size, and how to make this material to the nano size in a stable form. So people doesn't did not take any interest into that technology. And that time the micron size materials are being used, and micron size material is having the vast market for that particular entire system or entire scenario. So therefore, that micro technology is the class topper in the field of the science and technology, and nanotechnology is sitting to the last bench. And but when people come to know about the importance of that technology and beauty of this technology, there are peoples now using this material for the various applications, starting from paint industry to polymer industry, from polymer industry to medical and pharmaceutical industry, and many more applications are there. Even in the storage, for the storage devices, these materials are being used. For the storage of the hydrogen carbon nanotubes are being used in the field. So therefore, this technology is showing its enhancement in the various vast application, and therefore the same reaction can be happen. That microtechnology who is sitting, who was the top class topper of that particular entire system, and now nanotechnology is giving the full-fledged answer, that where microtechnology, micron size material is getting failed, there I am showing my importance, and that's why the same reaction happen. Next. He is the missile man who mentions that the best brains of the nation may be found on the last benches of the classroom. That has been mentioned by our Bharat Ratna missile man, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The same thing is happened, that nanotechnology is the base brain now, and it's showing the its importance, and playing the role in the development of the nation. Next. So this is another cartoon slide, that one of the professor is talking with the scientist, that excuse me please, where is the nanotechnology department? That scientist immediately say, professor, you just trod on it. You are walking on the, or you are on the way of that nanotechnology. Next. So here I will focus on basically nanofibers. They use in the they use as a photocatalytic material. Their importance in the some reactions, and then their use in the degradation of the dyes, so that we can use the purified water. Whatever the water is available, sources of the water are now limited, and therefore whatever the water is there, impure water is there, we can make that impure water into the pure form, and that can be used in the coming time. So fiber is natural. There are the two types of the fiber. They can be the natural, or they can be the synthetic one. When we talk about the natural fibers, these natural fiber can be obtained from the vegetable, animal, food, mineral, and biological fiber. And when we talk about the synthetic fiber, they may be the synthetic, semi-synthetic, synthetic, metallic, silicon carbide, glass, and from the polymers, they can be whatever the synthetic polymers are there. That synthetic polymers can be drawn into the form of the fibers, and substances, these fibers are significantly longer than it has the width. Whatever the width is there, as compared to that width, the length of the fiber is too much. Means it is 100 times more as compared to its weight. Fiber are often used in the manufacturing of other materials. They can have the very high strength Now, if you look into that system, that aramide fiber is there, that aramide fiber, Kevlar fibers are there. They can have they can have very high strain as compared to even into the normal metal also, and therefore these metals can be used as a reinforcing material for the associated properties of that particular material. Next. So why nanofibers? These nanofibers having the large specific surface area, high porosity is there, small pore size, and when we talk about their diameter, it is in the range of 52,000 nanometer. Polymer solutions or melts can be used for the drawing of this fiber. And when we use this material for drawing of the nanofiber, more than 30 polymers, including polyethylene oxide, DNA, polyamides, and polyaniline have been electrospun. And for the drawing of this nanofiber, electrospinning technique being used for this material to be drawn. And when we draw this material into the fiber form, surface to volume ratio is too much, very high. But But when we talk about this particular material, their diameter is in the range of 52,000 nanometer. Diameter is there, but length will be in the size of the micrometer. But major is that diameter should be in the range of 52,000 nanometer. 52,000 nanometer. And when we talk about this material is having the importance that its pores should be in the size of the nano. It has the maximum pores, and when its pores are there, this material can be have unique properties as compared to the normal nano size material. Next. So these are the application where these nanofiber can be live. That is electrospun fibers are there. These are the electrospun nanofibers are there, and that electrospun nanofiber can be drawn into various morphologies. If you go into the entire picture, that sensor application is there, or as a micro reactor. These in case of the sensor or a micro reactor application, porous and branch type of the nanofiber can be used. When we talk about for the filtration purpose and for the tissue engineering purpose, peapod type nanofibers are there. For tissue engineering, wire in a tube. When we talk about the biomedical application, multi-channels means a single fiber is there. Into the single fiber, multiple fibers are being like it is like optical fiber. And when we talk about for the cell adhesion application, multi-wall nanofibers are required. For the catalysis, cylindrical, non-cylindrical, but highly porous material can be used for the catalytic application. And when we talk about the energy storage application, necklace type nanofibers are being recommended for this particular application. Means for entire application, as per the different application, different morphologies of the nanofiber can be defined with respect to that particular application. Next. This is why electrospinning technique is being used for the purpose. There are the various techniques being used for drawing of the fiber. That is template synthesis there, simple drawing is there, phase separation, self-assembly, electrospinning is there. But when we compare electrospinning, that electrospinning can have the ability to draw a nano form, a nano size material, nano material whose surface to large surface to the volume ratio can be precisely maintained with the help of this technique as compared to the other technique, and therefore electrospinning technique is being used. This ease of processing is moderately easy, even though it is moderately easy, but once we have hands on that particular instrument of drawing of the particular fiber of with the help of the electrospinning technique, we can easily draw the fibers. Only we have to maintain all the conditions, all the parameters associated with the electrospinning technique. That can be, if we maintain all these parameters in a very precise manner, then the fiber can be drawn very easily and very smoothly. Next. This is the electrospinning setup. This setup is available in the laboratory. This electrospinning setup requires a high voltage power supply, and the range is been given, that is a 10 to 30 kilovolt. That much of the power supply is required. And when that much of power supply is there, you have to take all precautionary measures during handling this particular instrument. You must have the thing and proper system in our laboratory. You have the proper space, so that working space, that is called as a working space. If some accidents is happen, you can immediately remove from that particular setup, move from that particular setup. Therefore the working space is very much essential. uh, if you look into that particular figure, that there is a syringe. That syringe is filled with the polymer solution. That syringe is connected with the needle. That needle is called as a spinneret. And when we apply the pressure, once the pressure is applied to the needle of the tip, we are applying the high voltage, that is 10 to 30 kilovolt of the voltage is being applied. And because of that, that
Hello.
liquid
Are
drop
you
is
able to
get
hear me?
charged. Once the liquid drop is get charged, what happen, when that drop is coming out from the needle, it is because of the room temperature, that material starts to solidify. But because of the high voltage charging, that material is get stretched towards the direction of the drum, where the drum is there, where the collector plate is there. That material is get collected over that particular collected surface, which is being earthened properly. And that fiber is converted into the tissue, like a tissue paper. It can be drawn like a tissue paper, and that tissue paper can be peel out from that particular surface. And whatever the material is there, that material is a very fine size of the nanofiber. Okay. And when material is when the charged liquid starts to draw over the surface of the collector, it forms the Taylor cone. And that Taylor cone is been uh, affected by the positive charges over that particular surface. Near to the diagram, there is the Taylor cone is been put. When this is happen, that electrostatic repulsion counterparts the surface tension, and droplet is get stretched. Whatever the phenomena I have mentioned earlier, at a critical point, liquid erupts from that surface. If the molecular cohesion of the liquid is high stream, if the molecular cohesion of the liquid is high, stream is breakup. Whatever the line of the material is there, whatever the fiber is there, that becomes breakup. Breakup does not occur, and charged liquid jet is formed. A conductive substrate normally grounded, where the collector, whatever the collector plate I have mentioned, that is been conductive surface, and it is normally grounded to the surface. There are the two ways of drawing of the fiber. One can be in a vertical manner, one can be in a horizontal manner. These are the two ways where the fiber can be drawn. Next. So these are the important parameters associated with the drawing of the nanofiber. Three important parameters are there. If we control these parameters very specifically and very precisely, then your nanofiber can be a continuous fiber. If you are unable to control any of the parameters during the synthesis, during the drawing process, what happened, that fiber can be break, or it forms the knot in between the end of your previous fiber and starting of your next fiber. There is a formation of the knot, and that knot makes some disturbance that can make deterioration in the property, and therefore you have to control all these parameters very effectively. That is the solution properties. In the solution properties, viscosity of the solution is very much important. Whatever the fiber you had drawn, suppose if you are drawing fiber of poly acrylonitrile, fiber of the pan, then you have to maintain the viscosity. There are the three types of the viscosity. One is the low viscosity, second one is the moderate viscosity, and third one is very high viscosity. If you go with the low viscosity, then the solution can be leave the syringe very easily. If you make a very high viscosity, the solution cannot be come out from the needle of the syringe very easily. And therefore, if you maintain the viscosity in the middle, that is a moderate viscosity, then solution can come out from that particular needle very easily, and charge can be formed very effectively. And therefore the viscosity should be moderate one. Elasticity, when the viscosity is moderate, that solution has the good elasticity. Then third one is the conductivity. that material should be a very conductive one. And surface tension. When we talk about the surface tension, that surface tension associated with the different properties of the solution of viscosity of the material, that is a molecular weight distribution. When we talk about processing condition, that processing condition of that particular material is related with the electric field, flow rate. Electric field, as I mentioned, that is from 10 kilovolt to 30 kilovolt. You cannot use very low and very high electric field. Flow rate should be balanced so that when the solution come from the needle, and when that needle out from that needle, when the solution out and it comes to the room temperature, and when it starts to solidify, where we allow to raise that particular fiber over the drum, that drum is rotating, that is called as a flow rate, that is called as rpm, revolution per minute of the drum, as well as the flow of the solution from that particular syringe. So therefore both should be adjusted in such a way that very high amount of the solution cannot be flow very high, and the rpm should not be so high. If any one of the parameter will be mismatched, then your fiber can be break continuously, and it will not be in a continuous manner. Okay, so number of erupting points will come in between that particular drawing of the fiber. Therefore, the RPM of the drum should be balanced along with, it should be correlate with the flow of the liquid, and flow of the liquid can be correlate with the RPM, revolution per minute of your drum. So that flow rate should be maintained. Distance between the needle and the collector plate. When we talk about the distance between the needle and the collector plate, hello, whose slide is not appearing. This one. Okay. So when we talk about the distance between the needle, previous, that needle, okay, distance between the needle and the collector plate, that needle and where you have adjusted the collector plate or where you have put that particular drum, that distance should be the maximum one. If the distance between these two collector plate and the needle is very late, there will be the formation of the sagging. That sagging will be there, and the strength of the fiber will be lost. There will no formation of the surface. The tension will lose, and the fiber will be weaker one. And therefore, the distance should be the maximum one, or needle should be apart, very much apart from that particular collector plate, so that the tension will appear, and because of the tension, the strength of the fiber will be the maximum. Okay. Then take up speed, whatever I mentioned, that is a drum. And the next one is the ambient condition, that is the temperature should be room temperature is sufficient, and solution should be cooled properly, so that it will not be very highly viscous or very moderately viscous or very low viscous. Then second one is the RH of the environment, and third one is the type of the atmosphere and atmospheric pressure. Next. So these are the effect of the parameters which we have optimized. When parameters will be get optimized properly, if the viscosity of the solution will be like this, that is a effect. Sorry, concentration of the solution will be balanced. That is from here. The same images are there. We have done a lot of experiment for drawing of that particular fiber. We have maintained the concentration. We have maintained the viscosity. We have maintained the distance between the collector plate and the tip of the needle. And what will be the effect of this particular all parameters when we optimize this parameter, and what will be the size of that particular fiber will be obtained, that we have see that FeSM of that 10 nanofiber we have mentioned, that is a when 10 weight% will be there, concentration of the solution 10 weight%. That time the size of the fiber comes to in between the range of 200 to 400 nanometer. When concentration is 12 weight%, the size is go too high, that is 700 to 800 nanometer. And when we go with 1 micrometer, that is 15 weight% of the solution, it shows a 1 micrometer. Means concentration of the solution should be minimum. That 10 weight% gives very precise manner of nanofiber, that is 200 to 400 nanometer size of the fiber can be obtained at 10 weight% of concentration of the solution. Next. When whatever we have mentioned, that is the applied voltage, that is we are applying the voltage to the needle tip, that is from 10 to 30 kilovolt, that time, yeah, what will be the effect of that particular voltage over the size that we see, that is 15 kilovolt of, when we apply the 15 kilovolt voltage, the needle, that is 344 plus or minus 51 nanometer, means nearly 350 nanometer of the fiber can be possible at the applied voltage, that is a 50 kilovolt. When you apply 20 kilovolt, that time it gives 323 nanometer size of fiber, and at 25 kilovolt, 331 nanometer size can be possible at 25 kilovolt. Means a very low voltage can give a very high size, and very high voltage can also give the high size, but it is low as compared to the very low voltage which we are applying, that is 15. When we compare with 15 kilovolt, 15 kilovolts gives 350 nanometer size of the fiber, but when we compare with 25 kilovolt, it gives 330 nanometer size of the particular pan nanofiber. But in moderate case, means when we go with 20 kilovolt, in between that, it gives a very low size of the nanometers as compared to 15 kilovolt as well as 25 kilovolt. When we go with the distance between the tip and the collector plate, if the distance between the tip and the collector plate say 15 centimeter, then 438 nanometer size of the fiber can be possible, and in case of the 20 centimeter, it gives 368, means distance between the collector plate and the tip, or we say needle, should be the maximum one, then and then the fiber can be stretched properly, and the size can be a very lower one as compared to the very less distance between that collector plate and the this one. Next, now we go with the fabrication and characterization of PAN EG-G3N4 hybrid nanoparticle, that is a polyacrylonitrile silver grafted carbon nitrate hybrid nanofibers. Next. Hello. Hello. Yes. Madam, the lectures. Okay. नहीं माझे ते कॉन्फरन्सचे लेक्चर्स होते ऑनलाईन. Yes. So application fabrication of PAN polyacrylonitrile silver grafted carbon nitrate hybrid nanofiber. Initially, we have synthesized this grafted carbon nitride nanomaterial. For this, we have used urea, and we process this material up to 50 degrees centigrade. And after processing and after pyrolyzing this material, the powder is formed. After forming that powder is put into the tubular furnace up to the graphitization level, and whatever the material is formed, that is called as a graphitized carbon nitrate material. In between that, we have synthesized silver nanoparticle, that is a in situ process. Bulk, whatever the amount of whatever the material we have synthesized, that is a grafted carbon nitrate powder. That powder is been taken and that been dissolved into the solution. Not it is not dissolved. It forms the turbid solution. Okay, and that solution can be sonicated, and after sonication, that complete solution is being kept aside, and in between we have started with the synthesis of silver nanoparticle, and that silver into that silver nanoparticle in between the sonication process, that synthesized graphited carbon nitrate solution is being added along with continuous stirring, and that material is called as a silver graphited carbon nitrate nanoparticle. That silver grafted carbon nitrate nanoparticle is being converted into that solution, and that solution is being added into the polyacrylonitrile solution, and that can be drawn into the nanofiber. Okay, this is the process where the solution is being put into the syringe, and after applying some voltage, very high voltage, that is a 20 kilohertz, we have applied to the tip of the needle, and the solution is starting to push out from that particular at a moderate pressure, and that liquid jet is been drawn over the surface of the drum, and that fibers can be drawn. That whatever the fibers are drawn, that fibers are called as a polyacrylonitrile silver grafted carbon nitride nanofibers. Next. So this is the characterization we have done for that particular material. XRD we have done. That XRD for the three patterns are there. That is all. That is a nanofiber, polyacrylonitrile, pure polyacrylonitrile, and pure silver grafted carbon nitride nanomaterial. If you look into these observed peaks, that is the crystal planes are there. The combination of all these peaks are been seen into the first peak of XRD for nanofiber. That itself suggesting that there is the combination been happen for PAN, AGG, C3N4. In FTIR study, all the functional groups are present, that is appear from the polyacrylonitrile and which are appearing from the AGG, C3N4. These all peaks are there. There is a far IR range is also there, that is not been shown here, but main we have shown that is the presence of polyacrylonitrile functional groups are there, and that can showing the presence of or formation of that particular nanofiber. Next. So this is the uh, thermal stability as well as morphology study for that particular material. Thermal stability, if you look into the thermal stability, obviously the thermal stability because of the decoration of that particular nanomaterial over the surface of the polyacrylonitrile nanofiber abruptly shows the enhancement in the thermal stability. And when we look into that particular FAC image, that silver grafted C3N4 are the are showing some petals or some plate-like structure. Somewhere it's showing the dots of the silver over the surface of the graphited carbon nitride nanomaterial. And second image is of pure PAN nanofiber. Third and fourth is of polyacrylonitrile silver grafted carbon nitride nanofiber are there. There is the presence of these materials are get decorated over that surface. And in the fourth image, if you look, there is a formation of the very high diameter of the fiber. Is single thread of the fiber is showing a very high diameter. This is because of that particular system during the process. Maybe there is the fluctuation in the voltage take place, and because of the fluctuation in voltage, there is a formation of the knot. But all fibers can be observed a very uniform size with a uniform length. Next. This is the same EDS mapping of PAN AGG C3N4 nanoparticle along with this one, that is the XPS we have done. This overall, the scattered form of the visualization is clearly showing that the fibers are of uniform size and with a uniform diameter. But at some red spot is there. That red spot is showing that material showing some cluster that is been shown in the previous slide. There is some node is there, and these are the XPS study. Where this XPS study is showing the presence of this formation of this particular nanomaterial. That presence of say 01S and N1S, that is the orbital picture, that is electronic configuration for that particular system, that can show the formation of these particular fibers in a effective manner. Next. This is the TAME of this material. This TAME image is clearly showing the decoration of silver grafted carbon nitride nanofiber over the surface of the PAN nanofiber. And this index is showing the presence of this presence of the element. This is the elemental composition is there, and presence of silver, presence of carbon, nitrogen, and acrylonitrile is there along with their percentage. See the uniform diameter along with the uniform decoration without any cluster of the nanoparticle over the surface of the PAN nanofiber. Next. So this is the application we selected, that is as a heterogeneous catalyst for visible light driven for the selective oxidation of styrene and bonded molecule and benzene, CH2 bonded molecule and benzene. Next. Next, styrene oxidation we will see with the help of this catalytic activity. Here is the styrene, and there is a formation of the products along with some major as well as some minor product is there. And we have used some into the entire reaction, the catalyst being added along with hydrogen peroxide, and a light is there. We have come to put this reaction under the in presence of a light. uh, this is a very simple reaction. Okay, this is the styrene mm, is there, and that styrene is converted into these major products plus formation of some byproduct is there. Catalyst, the table is showing the catalysts which are being used for the reaction to enhance the rate of the reaction in presence of visible light driven process, and some solvent are being used. If you look into the red color fifth position entry, that is a PAN AGG C3 nanofibers are being used, and CH3CN is used as a solvent, and time required for the reaction is 16 hours. That is, and concentration is 98%. Conversion rate is 90%, not concentration. Sorry, conversion rate is 90%. And when we go for the selectivity of this particular catalyst, there is a formation of sulfonin oxide, benzaldehyde is there, PA, and that is a different byproducts are formed. There are the different byproducts are there, and the different byproduct in that the bracket is showing the major and other is showing the minor. So here is the 60% yield is obtained in case of the 98%, and when we go with the other, that is a 32, 7, and 1% is there. Means major is the SO, that SO is showing 60% of that particular material. That is a styrene oxide is there. Formation of styrene oxide is major one here. Okay, so this pan, whatever the catalyst we have used for this particular system, that catalyst is showing highest yield of that particular material, that is 98%, and that 98%, when we go with the selectivity, that styrene oxide is showing 60% more. That is a major product formation is taking place in parallel with the benzaldehyde as compared to benzoic acid and the phenylacetaldehyde. Next. That is a catalytic screening and the reaction optimization we have done. And when we have done with the optimization, again there is a the second table showing second entry showing 98%, 65%, 65% of styrene oxide as compared to the other whatever the R. Upon changing the R position, when we change the R position of that particular styrene oxide, the styrene that shows the change in the R position, that is the alkyl group changing. We get that particular conversion rate, that is 98% in case of the phenyl, and in case of the CH3 group, that is 98%. And when we change 4Br or 4Cl and 4NO2 at 4 position, it shows 97, 81, and 72%. But in case of the 4CH3, the conversion is 98%, but the styrene oxide is more as compared to the other one. It is up to 65%. Next. That is a CH oxidation of ethyl benzene. Next. So here ethyl benzene we have used, the same condition we have used, same catalyst we have used, same solvent we have used. Reaction time is 12 hours and 98% conversion rate. And whatever the product we have obtained, that product is complete pure form of the product, and that pure form of the product, that is ethyl benzene, conversion of ethyl benzene is complete 99%. 99% conversion is taking place. Next. So these are the different reactant we have used, and with the help of that different reactant, by changing the R alkyl group position, we got this product, their conversion, and their selectivity we have done. And very interesting result we have obtained for this particular system in case of the styrene as well as in case of the ethyl benzene. Next. CH oxidation of the benzene. Next. So here benzene, the same condition is there, and we obtain. If you look into this particular fifth entry, same solvent 30-minute reaction is there. If you look into the previous four reaction, 24 hour, 24 hour, 24 hour, 2 hours, and when we have used same nanofiber by changing the solvents, only 30 minutes is required, but the conversion rate is 99%. Conversion of the benzene is 99%. Next. So there is a scalability we have done. Scalability of PAN, AGG, C3, and 4 towards the CH oxidation of benzene we have done. And that can be used up to fourth to fifth cycle. The same reactant can be, same catalyst can be used from first phase to the fifth, first cycle to the fifth cycle. If we wash it properly, again we can regenerate, and that catalyst can be used continuously up to the fifth to sixth cycle. And even at the fifth cycle, the conversion rate is up to 86%. Means we maintain that conversion rate of the benzene up to more than 80%, even up to the fifth to sixth cycle. Next. So after reusability, what is the scenario that you just see the conversion number of the cycle and the conversion rate. Here we have used this material up to 8 cycle, and the percent is up to 86%. A very moderate change in the conversion rate of the byproduct, so major product. That is silver concentration before reaction is 4.56%. Silver concentration after completion of the reaction is 4.55. Means whatever the fibers we have developed, that fiber having the ability to hold that silver AgC3 AgG C3N4 nanoparticle over the surface very effective manner even after washing up to the 8th cycle. And if you look into these images, that is images showing itself that even up to the 8th cycle, the decoration of that particular nanoparticles are still over there up to the 8th cycle. Means we have washed that particular catalyst 8 times, till the nanoparticles are there over the surface of that particular nanofiber. Next. Now next is a fabrication of copper nickel nanofiber. That is a precursor solution we have used here. That is copper nitrate we have used along with the PAN solution, which has been passed into the needle, into the syringe, and there is a formation of the PAN copper nickel nanofiber. Initially we have synthesized this copper and nickel separately, and after synthesis of copper and nickel, for that precursor use is copper nitrate and nickel nitrate we have used, and these can be synthesized by in situ process. And after in situ, the solution can be add into the solution of the polyacrylonitrile. We have applied sonicate that particular complete solution for half an hour, and after sonicating this complete entire solution, that entire solution is transferred into the syringe. And as per the usual process, we have applied the voltage, we have put the pressure, we have adjusted the distance between the needle and the drum, and the fiber can be drawn. And after drawing up the fiber, the stabilized fiber sheet can be carbonized. Then after carbonization, we will get these carbon nickel nanofibers, only the carbon nickel nanofiber. That PAN can be completely carbonized, and we will get the carbon nickel nanofiber, carbon nickel carbon nanofiber. Next. So this is the XRD study of this particular carbon nickel nanofiber ratio. That is initially we have done the whatever this nanoparticle we have synthesized, that is copper oxide nanofiber, nickel oxide carbon nanofiber, then copper nickel carbon nanofiber of 1:1, copper nickel carbon nanofiber 1:2, copper nickel carbon nanofiber 2:1. And if you look, a uniform pattern can be obtained in every ratio, that is 1:1, 1:2, and 2:1. Next. So these are the XPS study for this particular nanofiber, nanofiber of different ratio, and the same electronic configuration can be obtained for that particular nanofiber. Only different in the electronic configuration can be obtained in case of the copper oxide and in case of the nickel oxide and carbon nanofiber. And when we go with the combination, the combination of these electronic oxidation states can be obtained in case of the 1s1, 2s1, and 1s2 of this particular material. Next. So these are the deconvoluted spectra. We have zoom it in a proper way, and the deconvoluted spectra can be obtained. And from this deconvoluted spectra, you can find out the term symbol, term representation, that is a 2 feet 3 by 2 for this particular material. That is a part of the inorganic chemistry. Next. So if you look into the thermal stability, all material is showing the very high thermal stability. But if you look into the ratio of 1s1, 1s2, 2s2, they are highly thermal stable as compared to the nickel oxide, carbon nanofiber, copper oxide, carbon nanofiber, and simple carbon nanofiber. Next. So these are the FECM images for all ratios. Carbon nanofiber, simple carbon nanofiber are there. If you look into the copper oxide carbon nanofiber, decoration of the copper oxide over the surface of the nanofiber. Nickel oxide carbon nanofiber, the nickel oxide is in the form of the platelet, and that plate can be stick over that particular surface. And if you look into the copper nickel carbon nanofiber, we have taken only one ratio. Along with the plate, incorporation of the plate with the decoration of the this one copper oxide nanoparticle over the surface of that particular carbon nanofiber. Next. This is the high resolution transmission electron microscopic study. See, the fibers are of uniform size, uniform length and diameter. And when we talk about the uniform length and the diameter, there is the complete decoration of this one, that is a copper oxide nanoparticle, along with some patches, that is a strip over that particular nickel oxide is there. Next. So this material is being used in the field of supercapacitor. We all know about the capacitor and supercapacitor, their importance. They are used in the storing of the energy in the electric field. So capacitor is initially it is being known as a condenser. These are known as a condenser, and is having passive two-terminal electrical component used to store energy. There is the image, and there are the 2 points are there, 2 wires are there. These wires are nothing but the terminals. 2 terminals are there, and these are the passive 2 terminals. When we connect with that particular device, it can use the uh, high amount of the whatever the energy can be stored over there, that can utilize for the particular application. Next. So in continuation with the capacitor, when capacitor does not, or that condenser does not give that much of energy, storage of the energy, there is a development of the supercapacitor is there. Supercapacitor is an electrochemical capacitor. It is an electrochemical capacitor having very high energy density as compared to that complete. It has not too much high density, but it has the energy density, but it is having low energy density as compared to the common capacitor, that is 100 times more. Whatever the energy density is there for that particular supercapacitor, it is 100 times more, and also known as the electric double layer capacitor. It is called as a EDLC or ultra capacitor, and having range 100 farad to 5000 farad. That much of that capacity of that particular supercapacitor is there. Next. So properties and classes of the supercapacitor. What are the properties? Store high amount of energy, high capacitance is there, high rate of charge and discharge, means it has the ability to charge itself very high level, as well as it can be discharged very effectively. Little degradation over 1000 cycle, even whatever the lifetime of that particular capacitor is there, it will not be degraded very fast. It will degraded after the 1000 cycle, after use of the 1000 cycle, and low toxicity, It has low toxicity and high efficiency. Its efficiency is high, more than 95% efficiency is there. And when we talk about the classes of the supercapacitor, as I mentioned, double layer capacitor is there. Then pseudo capacitor is there, and combination of double layer capacitor along with the pseudo layer capacitor, it becomes the hybrid capacitor. Next. So this is the study we have done with the help of the cyclic voltammetry. When after doing the cyclic voltammetry, what we observe that all means virgin material being used, that is a carbon nanofiber, copper nickel carbon carbon nanofiber, nickel carbon nanofiber, and the combination, that is a blended form of the copper nickel carbon nanofiber along with the different ratio 1:1, 1:2, 2:1. If you look into the blue line, blue curve, that is a cyclic curve is there. This curve is called as a cyclic curve. Whatever the curve obtained with the help of the cyclic voltammetry, these are the cyclic, means there is a redox and oxidation. Means the reverse cycle can be obtained. Means when it starts from one point, it again come to the same point by completing the cycle, and therefore it is called as a cyclic curve. If you look into this blue line, that is a carbon nickel carbon nanofiber 1:1 ratio, is the best option, and which gives the the scanning being done at 5 millivolt per second inverse. Okay, so the current density is maximum in case of 1:1 ratio. And when we talk about this one, that is a range with varying scan rate from 5 to 200 millivolt second inverse. That blue line, that is 200 millivolt from 5 millivolt per second inverse, it shows a complete reverse way. That is done for 1:1 carbon nickel copper nickel nanofiber. Next. So at the same time, we have done galvanic charge discharge curve. Here is the charge and discharge for this particular process. And if you look, that 1:1 is charging very fast and discharging very effectively. Charging as compared to 1:2, 2:1, and pure copper carbon nanofiber and nickel carbon nanofiber. There are the specific capacitance been obtained for that particular, and the specific capacitance is calculated with the help of 1/m into dt upon dv, time into the voltage density of that particular system, and GCD curve for with varying current density ranging from 1 to 50 ampere per gram we have done. That is a discharge for 1:1. That is a galvanic charge discharge study. And here are the that is all specific capacitors obtained for that particular material is being obtained. And copper nickel carbon nanofiber 1:1 is showing the maximum specific capacitance, that is 121.4 farad gram reverse. Next. So this is the cyclic stability and Nyquist plot that we have done. This is the this cyclic study and Nyquist plot can be done theoretically by obtaining the data from GCD as well as from the cyclic voltammetry study. Next. So these are the properties. At the same time, we have studied the mechanical property, that material having the good mechanical property. If we study the mechanical property, then we can understand the strength of that particular capacitor and strength of the particular supercapacitor. If you look into the tensile strain, that at 4 means weight percent loading of that particular fiber is showing the maximum maximum tensile strain, as well as it shows the maximum Young's modulus, that is more than, say, it is in between 70 to 80 gigapascal. And here the tensile strength is measured in megapascal. It is near about, say, more than 400, means it is in between 400 to 500 megapascal. Next. Next is the fabrication of PAN EGG hybrid nanofiber, silver graphited PAN actinonitride nanofiber. Here we have synthesized graphene oxide with the help of the well-known Hummers method. We have taken the graphite, and with the help of the Hummers method, the graphene oxide is formed. This graphene oxide is added in situ into the silver nitrate solution, and that silver nitrate solution is being reduced with the help of the sodium borohydrate, and we get these silver graphited nanoparticles. This silver graphite nanoparticle is been converted into the solution form. A turbid solution is obtained. That metal oxide is being mixed into the polymer with the help of the sonication, and then fiber can be drawn with the help of the electrospinning technique. Next. Next. So these are the XRD and FTIR. XRD for EGG, that is a silver graphited nanoparticle, PAN nanofiber, and silver graphited PAN nanofibers. So the combination of all the crystal planes are there. It's well suggesting that there is the PAN as well as there is the EGG graphite. Okay. And the presence of this FTIR peaks itself showing the formation of this particular PAN EGG graphited nanofiber. Next. These are the XPS and FASM study. XPS, we see that FASM itself showing the fibers of uniform size and diameter, uniform length and diameter, but decoration is being observed over the surface of that particular PAN nanofiber. Decoration of EGG graphitate over the surface of that and with a very high porosity. Next. So these are the TAME images of PAN and along with the EDAX elemental composition study. Next. Thermal study itself showing the PAN EG nanofibers are certainly more stable as compared to the PAN and silver graphite nanoparticle. If you look into this PAN is showing the this one, that is a melt temperature at 288 degrees centigrade, but PAN EGG graphite nanoparticle is showing 316 degrees centigrade. Means its thermal stability is more as compared to the pure PAN nanofiber. And if we again we have studied with the that peak is not been shown here, that is a silver graphite nanoparticle. It is showing in that particular range. That means near about say 300 or like this. But because of the complete exfoliation and complete uniform decoration or the porous of that particular PAN nanofiber, the thermal stability of that particular PAN AGG nanofiber is goes on found by enhanced property. Next. So we have studied this mechanical properties of this particular material. Improved mechanical properties, say tensile strength, elongation at break, Young's modulus, and hardness also. Hardness is increasing because the surface of the PAN nanofiber becomes very hard because of the decoration of that silver graphited nanoparticle. Its elongation at break goes on increasing. Actually, if we look into the scenario of the property, if one property get improved, another property get deteriorated. But here, all the properties are get improved because the chain slippage phenomena is been observed here in case of the elongation and break. And because of the chain slippage phenomena, the elongation and break of this nanofiber is enhanced at higher amount, at higher percent of the loading also. 50% loading. Next. This is the application that is a photocatalyst under solar irradiation. Next. This is the photocatalyst. You know photocatalyst is a substance uses light energy to facilitate chemical reaction. Photocatalyst is there. We know the example that the leaves, green leaves are there. Green leaves is having the chlorophyll inside in it. That chlorophyll is acting as a photocatalyst, and because of the photocatalyst, the chemical reaction can be happen in case of that particular green leaves. And where in presence of the light and the water, because of that photocatalytic reaction, whatever the chemical agent is present, that converted into that is converted into the carbon dioxide and the water. That there is a breakdown of the organic matter to carbon dioxide and the water. This is the example we have put over here, degradation product. That is a copper sulfate is used as a photocatalyst, and because of the copper sulfate, if you look into that particular band gap, that is a conduction band and valence band, there is a formation of the electron and the holes. That H plus and electron is there. Here the oxidation is taking place, and oxidation product is a degradation product, that is OH minus and water. and in the reduction degradation product is O2 minus and O2. Okay, so this is how the band gap is changing, and this is the nitrobenzene is the that is a the byproduct is formed here. Continue next. So this is the example we have put here. Photocatalysis. Photocatalysis, that is a 6 carbon dioxide, 6 mole of the carbon dioxide and 6 mole of the water is there. Photosynthesis is happening. Light from the sun is coming over the surface of the leaf, and there is a formation of the glucose and the oxygen. Okay, so chlorophyll is the best example, natural photocatalyst, which is acting as a natural, which captures the sunlight to turn water and CO2 into oxygen and glucose. And application of the photocatalyst, they can be used as a sterilizing effect. They can use the sterilizing, deodorizing effect, air purifying effect, anti-fogging and self-cleaning, water purification and dye degradation. And if you use this material for this photocatalyst can be used, it is a need of the our present scenario to use this photocatalyst for the purification of the water, so that whatever is the problem arising because of the lack of the water, we have to use this water from the industry sources and purify that water and use that water for the drinking purpose, because the sources of the water is now limited. Rainy season is completely changing, and because of that water available is very less at present. Next. Next. So this is the best example. That is the 2 billion people belonging to 60 countries of the world are drying off for water. Now 2 billion people doesn't get the water, and because of that, in presence of that, they are dying. And by the year of 2020, the figure may be reach to 7 billion. See, we know the story of this crew who is thirsty and searching for the water. For that, he finds the water in the vessel, which is at the bottom. So he put the stone into the that vessel, so that the water come out, and he take the water. Okay, now next time he used the straw again. Next time he used the motor for lifting the water. But when that vessel is empty, what to do? From where did we get the water? So for the last 3 generations, our family was very scientific in managing the water problem. We are managing the water problem by putting the stone, by putting the straw, by putting the motor into the water system, and we are getting the water. But if the last scene is come, then what to, from where to get the water? That is a big issue. Next. And why this issue is happening? See, we have to get the water from here. Whatever the water available, that is contaminated water, that is containing the dye, pigments, and all these impurities are there. We cannot use this water for the drinking purpose, and therefore we have to use some sustainable resources that can use the water continuously. Whatever impure water there, that water can be filtered. Only the filtration process cannot solve the problem. Therefore, we have to add this material into the water so that the water can be purified. Next. For this, we have used the methylene blue, which is the impurity, and methyl orange, which is the impurity in the water. Initially, if we look into this particular system, when we go only the pan nanofiber for the purification purpose, only 25% of the water can be get purified. But when we go with silver graphite nanoparticle, that intensity of the peak is get absorbance level is of that particular peak is get minimized, but only 79% can be possible. But when we go with the pan Ag graphite nanoparticle, complete purification can be observed. Means methyl orange can be completely get degraded from that particular water, and we can make that water for the drinking purpose also. Next is the methyl orange. In this, if we look into this particular system, again methyl orange shows means this material can has the good degradation ability with methylene blue as compared to methyl orange, because methyl orange get degraded 82% as compared to the methylene blue. Next. So this is the complete photocatalytic activity without catalyst. You just look into this degradation activity of this particular material. Without catalyst is there, catalyst is not there. So no degradation of that particular methyl orange and methylene blue is taking place. From 0 minute to 90% we have given. 0 to 75 minutes we have given for the methylene blue and methyl orange, but no degradation take place. Next. We have done this kinetic study for methylene blue and methyl orange. It is a first order first order unimolecular reaction been observed. Next. This is the degradation mechanism. Here is the silver, and because of this presence of the silver, the conduction, the band is changing. Then formation of electron and hole pairs is there, and these are the oxidation and the reducing product of that particular complete mineralization is taking place. Formation of carbon dioxide is taking place with removal of that complete dye from that particular surface of the water. Next. So this is the reusability of this particular material. We can use this material up to fifth cycle, and up to fifth cycle it shows 91 to 84% degradation of the material. Methylene blue is showing 91% degradation, whereas methyl orange shows 84% degradation. Next. And these are the different pinches we have added during the degradation process. So this is the surface study after reusability, and this is up to the fifth cycle. Even up to the fifth cycle, the material does not lose its catalytic activity. It does not leach out. Not a single particle of silver graphited nanoparticle is removed from the surface of that particular pan nanofiber. Means this material can only need a proper washing, proper regeneration. Once the proper regeneration and proper washing is done, that material can be used a number of times. For the number of cycles, we can use this material for the purification purpose. And even at that particular after doing the FTIR study, there is the bonding of that particular material over the surface is taking place, and the degradation is been happening. Next. So this is the comparative study. What the fiber we are used, that is a pan AGG graphite nanofiber for methylene orange. Time required for degradation is 75 minutes under the solar light. This is the present work. And pan AGG nanofiber for methylene orange, it takes 90 minutes. But when we compare with the above reported schemes, that is methyl orange, methylene blue, all they require 7 hours, 4 hours, 480 minutes, 180 minutes, 170 minutes, 180 minutes, like that, 6 hours. But we need only 75 minutes. We require only 75 minutes and 90 minutes for methylene blue and methyl orange, respectively, for the degradation purpose. Next. So this is my research group. In conclusion, I just say this nanoparticle can be used maybe the marching towards the sustainability. Only need the proper direction. Only need the only need to check the economic viability, and we have tested the economic viability of that particular material also. In a very low cost manner, and only few amount of that particular nanomaterial is required for the degradation purpose, for the enhancement in the supercapacitor activity of that material, for the degradation of that particular styrene CH2 bonded oxidation of that particular material can be happen with the help of this nanomaterial. Thank you. I thanks my research group for make available this much of data so that I can able to present all this material in front of you members. Thank you, and thank you, Professor Sonone, for inviting me to express my expertise in the field of these particular nanomaterials. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shimpi. Can you switch on your video camera?
Yes.
So we were eager to see you from long back. So
Yes.
there is a question answer session. Uh, can you see the questions? If you open the chat, some questions are there. Can you see the
Yes,
questions?
Minda. Yes, yes. In XRD, why 2 theta degree varies from 1 to 100 degree, why not up to 360 degree? Actually, this is our choice. We have to give to the option opted that have to do whatever x axis is the axis range we can go from 0 to 60, from 0 to 80 or 100 degree. That is our choice. We can give the option to the operator. Accordingly, he can characterize that material.
Okay. There is one question starting from Q.
That can be drawn.
If you
That is up to say 1000 means that is depend upon the viscosity of the solution. If the viscosity of the solution is very well moderate, and if we stretch the fiber very, if we enhance the distance between the collector plate and the tip, collector plate and the tip of the needle, that can give the material
your
between
your
the.
your voice is not clear. So your voice is not clear. So you can switch off your video now.
Hello, voice is clear?
Your voice is not clear.
1 minute. Is it okay now?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, it is okay. It is okay now.
Okay.
So
So I just go with the next question. So what is the maximum length? The participant asked, what is the maximum length of the nanofiber that can be drawn? This length of the fiber is depend upon the distance between the collector plate and the tip of the needle. Okay. If it is more, the length of the fiber can be more. Okay. If we keep it very close, the length of the fiber is very short. And whatever the length of the fiber is there, that length of the fiber affecting on the diameter of the fiber also. So that can be maximum one. That is depend upon the operator's choice. Nanoparticles are only decorated on the surface or incorporated into the nanofiber. That can be decorated over the surface of the nanofiber, not incorporated. If the porous size is maximum, then that can be incorporated into the pores of that nanofiber. What is the dielectric constant of the material as it has supercapacitor application? The dielectric constant is in between the range of 20 ampere per second inverse.
so from my side, I will. I'm
Yes, yes,
I'm asking one
yes,
question, Professor Shilpi.
yes. Go.
Uh, so a lot of nano uh, uh, particles, fibers we have observed in your presentation. Can you
Yes, sir.
please briefly explain the application of those nanoparticle in green process synthesis?
Hmm. In green process synthesis, generally,
Green application,
I have mentioned this already.
green nanotechnology application.
Hello. Green nanotechnology application. These material can be used as a green catalyst for the synthesis of various organic reaction. And I know you are the one of the reviewer for my student thesis, Miss Sarika Rasal. And you have gone through that particular thesis in a very detailed manner. In that, we have used different nanoparticles as a catalyst, and we have enhanced that particular means in absence of the solvent. Even in absence of the solvent, we can carry out the reaction, and whatever the time required for that particular reaction, that time required for that particular reaction is very less as compared to the reported one. So this is the green approach. That is the time of the organic reaction can be removed, minimized, as well as whatever the yield of the product is there, that yield of the product can be enhanced with formation of the very minimum amount of the byproduct. And when the minimum amount of the byproduct is formed, that reaction is directed towards the green approach, green technology.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Professor Shimpi, for delivering your expert talk. I think all participants may be enriched with you with your research field. Whatever you have worked is very nice work and very innovative one to every participants. So I'm hoping from participant side that your work will be very helpful for them in their own research career and academics, right? So thank you very much, participants. We are rejoining the session at sharply 12 noon. So please be ready to join the next session at 12 noon sharp, right? So let us have a break of half an hour. Thank you, Professor Shimpi, and thank you, participants. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.